Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Improv Gaming. As you very well may know, if you followed us during our live coverage of E3, this is our kind of overall show.
I'd say that, yeah.
All right, just everything that we kind of thought about the entire conference. So we're going to just kind of like take the checklist one by one as we go through this. Not saying that we're going to talk about each individual conference. You got that through our live show, but we're just going to take our little what's the word I'm looking for? Working checklist on the subject matter as we go through this.
And of course, each of us will probably give our game a show for individually and our runners up and
all that nonsense that you're so used to.
Try to agree on an improv gaming game
Try
show.
to agree. That's going to be very difficult.
I don't think that difficult.
I mean, you still have your mouth firmly glued to Spider-Man Arkham Knight, so.
I was talking to my buddy today at work, and he goes, he's like, yo, that Spider-Man game. I said, yeah, but, Nick doesn't like it. He goes, what's wrong with him? He goes, I usually agree with Nick. What's wrong with Nick? He goes, that looks amazing. I was like, oh, it looks like Arkham Knight to him. He goes, and that's a bad thing?
Yes, it is.
I was like, according to Nick, it's the goddamn awful, actually.
Yeah. Originality is what I want when it comes to these superheroes, because they all have their own differences. All right. I'm just saying. I'm just reiterating over and over again. Everybody has their own difference. If it was Superman Arkham Knight, everybody would be flipping out. Because Superman doesn't play anything like Batman. And you can't make a Superman game designed exactly like Batman. So you can't make a Spider-Man game designed exactly like Batman's.
If you want to see our full argument, you could always check out the post show over on the channel for Sony, where we go in. I think it was a good 20-minute discussion where we fought.
I think we fought for like a good 20 to 25 minutes.
The post show was longer than the press conference.
I think it was because we were arguing the entire time about Spider-Man Arkham Knight.
100%. He was wrong, though. I was right. Spoiler for what my game of show is.
I already know what your game of show is. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
What are we doing,
Let's get
Nick?
into it.
How should we go about this?
Why don't we talk about the show as a whole? Just E3 as a whole right now. Let's start with that, and then we'll go into kind of our runner-up and all that stuff. What do you think?
Sounds great.
All right, so show as a whole, Pete. How did you feel about this E3 overall?
It was fine.
That's all you got?
It was fine. It was good. It was good. It was a good E3. There was nothing mind-blowing that happened, There was nothing like, hey, God of War this day, or Spider-Man coming out this day, or, something big from Microsoft, something big from EA, Ubisoft, anybody, even Bethesda, tease something. There was no big moments. It was just, and not saying it's a bad thing.
It was just, it was kind of predictable in a lot of ways where it was like, oh, even when we were watching, we're like, why the fuck didn't we think of that? Yeah. Like, it was like, obviously that shit was going to happen. Why didn't we think of that? It wasn't like, oh, we would have never seen this coming. You know what I mean? None of it was like, oh, there was no way we could have ever predicted this. Everything was just like, oh, we should have known. Yeah. Oh, we should have known.
There was no big surprises. And granted, a lot of people have been arguing, Sony wasn't as good as years prior. Bethesda wasn't as good as years prior.
I had the fear that Sony wasn't going to be as good as years prior, because even when we were going through our prediction list for Sony specifically, I was like, I don't know what they're going to necessarily do. Like, everybody else kind of has something to fight for, but Sony being the top dog right now, like, they don't really have to do anything crazy.
I mean, and I said in my prediction, but a nice thing would have been, hey, Sucker Punch, what are you working on? Even a tease, give us something, Yeah. I just feel like Sony and Bethesda were so on top the last couple of years that they had to level out. You can't have, granted, you can't have an amazing conference, but something's got to die low, you know? And I feel like Sony and Bethesda finally had that. They had 2 great years in the past, and then finally they're like, okay, it was good. Like I said, E3 this year was good. Not great, not bad.
Phenomenal, not terrible, but it was just...
Every press conference had something. EA, looking through my notes, they had their sports, they had their Need for Speed, they had the new game, Way Out, they had Star Wars Battlefront, so, it was very easygoing. Microsoft, they talked about the Xbox One X now, Project Scorpio.
Hey, did you know the acronym for Xbox One X is Xbox? Seriously, that's why they kept on referring to the Xbox as the Xbox Classic. Yeah. Because the acronym for Xbox One X, because we all call it XBO, when you put the X behind it, is Xbox.
Yeah, that's funny. But they show, you knew you were going to see Forza Horizon 7, You saw some Assassin's Creed. You knew you were seeing Assassin's Creed. You knew we were probably most likely going to get a release date for Cuphead. Like, you knew these things that were going to come. Nothing that, like, blew us out of the way. Anthem, I mean, was cool. But, you know, like, it was just like...
Yeah, it was like, we don't know anything about this, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing here to generate excitement. This is just a new IP. So there was nothing, like, crazy about it that was like, oh, all it did was, like, anger us about Andromeda in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are just angry about Andromeda because it was like, oh, this is what you spent your fucking resources into. This is what you were diving into, and you weren't paying attention on what we love and what we cherished. And from a business standpoint, it made sense, right? Mass Effect 3 wasn't received well. The reception on it was garbage. So why are we going to divert so many resources to do Andromeda when we can just kind of give out something that's just like Mass Effect 1, and we can focus our attention on a new IP that might dominate the entire landscape?
Yep, 100%. Then you have Bethesda. You knew they were going to do VR. That was rumored. You knew that they were going to talk about the Elder Scrolls Morrowind. You knew they were going to talk about Switch for Skyrim. You knew they were going to talk about Quake. You knew because of leaks Evil Within was coming. Evil Within 2 was coming. You knew Wolfenstein was coming because you saw the tease from like you knew everything was predictable for Bethesda. Like I said, still not a bad thing. Just all right, you know, we got to see trailers, we got to see gameplay. Cool. What's that big wow moment in E3?
Yeah, there was no big wow moment. I think the biggest wow moment was probably Shadow of the Colossus, but again, that was the biggest one.
Yeah.
And that wasn't that crazy of a big one. You know
and
what I'm saying?
That's a game that's been out for 12 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So that wasn't a crazy big one. That was just a big one. It was like, oh, cool. They're making another one. And that was probably the most excitement for the conference, possibly, I would say.
I mean, Skull and Bones was cool, but then like the more you saw it, the more people were turned off on it. I mean, a Far Cry you knew you were going to see. Yeah, the big thing was Beyond Good and Evil 2, but then you're like, oh, fans, help us develop the game. You remember this? The Monkey Wrench? They're like, here, go over to Monkey Wrench and help us develop the game. So that means this game is easily out by 2019, 2020.
Yeah, I could see that.
And like you said with Sony, you know, you had a Shadow Colossus being the big thing, you know, but you knew they were going to go with Days Gone, Uncharted, Lost Legacy, God of War was going to make an appearance, you know. Spider-Man closing out the show. So not really that surprising, you know. Like,
yeah, I mean, when it comes to opening and closing, it's not something that we. I mean, we could probably pick at anything, and anything could really be opening and closing.
Depending on what they show. Like.
Yeah, exactly. So not that surprising.
And then like with Zelda recent, you know, we're going to talk about 2017 games, but then you have Kirby 2018, an RPG for the Pokemon Switch coming out whenever, you know, Yoshi 2018, and Metroid Prime 4. Like, it's like, hey, you were focused on 2017. And the big 2017 game you were talking about was games we know about, which is Splatoon and ARMS, and Zelda DLC packs. We got more information on that, obviously. And Mario. And that's it. Not saying it's a bad thing, Nick. But it was not something to blow our minds.
What I appreciated about this E3 was that everything, for the most part, was very concise and to the point. You know, it was, we don't have anything major, but we're going to show you what we're working on and how far along things have come. You know, Ubisoft, again, I think that was a misstep, saying, hey, this is a phenomenal title that we've been trying to develop, and that's the explanation for Andromeda. No, you shouldn't have done it here. You shouldn't have angered people during your conference here. Should have just showed it, and I honestly, I wouldn't have even fucking put BioWare on the tagline. I would have just left it alone. You know, I would have been like, hey,
especially with the salty name right now. Not saying BioWare's a terrible
it's not.
but
again, like the game looked phenomenally better than Mass Effect Andromeda.
100%.
Like the facial animations, everything that was wrong with Andromeda was not wrong in this game from what you could see. And like the gameplay was smooth, the fighting was smooth. There was a third person gunner. Like everything about it was like
seamless multiplayer.
The seamless multiplayer. It was like this is completely. Like, just breaking the molds from what Mass Effect Andromeda is. Which means BioWare could have done this for Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, 100%.
If they weren't developing a new IP.
I mean, granted, it is two different BioWares. Anthem is developed in... I'm not sure. I got to figure out exactly, but two different ones. But it shows, you know, the pedigree that they gave... Because let me backtrack. Who's behind Anthem was behind Mass Effect the Third. and then a new team of BioWare took on Andromeda. So having that pedigree of the Mass Effect trilogy and then doing Anthem as their new game, I could see why it's a little bit a step above. So it kind of shits on the other BioWare where it was Andromeda, and they're like, oh, is this
Yeah,
really?
but it was a completely new team that worked on BioWare, on Andromeda.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have. And that's the point, is that you made this big franchise that you already had established that people were excited to see, and you gave it to a small team, and then you made a new IP with this big, gigantic team. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Exactly. So now, do you agree with me on it saying it was good, or do you think it was bad?
I think
great?
you're exactly on point, right? Everything was concise and to the point. There was nothing major. There was nothing terrible. There was no the only misstep that I really saw was I want to say Bethesda, where it was just was it Bethesda? No, Ubisoft in that beginning was very, very awkward.
Oh, with rabbits.
Yeah, with Rabbids and Mario. That was very, very awkward, and like the translator should have been on the stage the entire time to ease that kind of tension, like to open up that awkward.
You never know. Miyamoto could have been like, "I want to try to do this."
Yeah, I know that, but like somebody should have said, "No, you can't." Like instead of everybody being like, "Yeah, that's a great idea because you're the boss." No, you can't. We already know that you can't. You've tried this how many years in a row? We know that you can't speak English that well. Your directs are always translated for you.
Exactly.
Slow your roll.
There was a funny meme though with Ubisoft where it's Mario talking to Rayman, and Rayman's like, "Yo, I'm very excited to like work with you," you know. And Mario's like, "Yeah, I'm talking to him," and then it pans over and it's the rabbit, you know? And Rayman's like, "What the fuck? Like we mash so well. I have a great fan base." It just made me laugh. But no, well,
yeah, it was
good E3.
Good E3, not phenomenal, not great, not
bad,
extraordinary, not bad.
I think the lowest score I gave was a 7 for the conferences.
I think my lowest was 6.5.
Yeah,
I
like
believe.
nothing.
Like, let me see. Yeah, no, my lowest was a 6
for EA.
For EA.
But you know what EA's called. EA. No offense to EA, and I think they're smart with doing the Saturday. And I touched this briefly on the post show. Is EA smart? They know they're not the most favorite of the press conferences. You know, they always have their sports games and everything. They're not like, oh, what big moments could happen? New Tom Clancy game. What's Sony? What's Microsoft? What's Bethesda? So for them to go Saturday and be like, all right, here's our stuff. You could check it out whenever. Star Wars Battlefront. You know, we have all these cool new games. A Way Out. Check it out soon. You know, and then they were done. Okay, let's move on. And then it began with Microsoft, Bethesda, and then it just started to roll. But
I think EA could have pulled it off. I think EA has been trying to pull it off. I mean, why else would you acquire a massive franchise like Star Wars if you weren't trying to be Top Gunner? The problem is EA can't achieve it. Yeah. I don't think EA knows that they can't achieve it because their sales speak for them. But your sales speak about diehard fans of established franchises, right? That's including sports. Sports. Yeah, sports. Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, like
and
Battlefront. You know,
and Battlefield. Sorry, apologies.
Whatever, doesn't matter. The same thing. But you know, EA is trying. And I think that they're succeeding in terms of their ledger. On their ledger, they're succeeding, but on ours, they aren't.
What do you feel like was the best press conference?
Ubisoft.
This year?
Specifically because, and I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree, right? Like, in terms of the press conference itself, it wasn't something that was extraordinary. But in terms of what it told me about Ubisoft and how much they learned from last year and how much they've learned from the previous years and how much they're willing to kind of change their ways. This is the kind of press conference I would have preferred to see out of Nintendo. You know, the kind of development or change in thought or philosophy that I would have liked to see come out of Nintendo. That's why I was very impressed with Ubisoft.
And you were disappointed the most with Nintendo?
Absolutely disappointed the most with Nintendo. I'm going to say that, and this is like a jilted lover kind of situation, Nintendo would have probably been my lowest score after watching it out of all the conferences.
Dang.
Yeah, I think Nintendo would have been my lowest score. And that's including a Metroid Prime 4 announcement. That's including Mario Odyssey getting an in-depth look at it. Like, it still would have been... a confirmation on a Pokemon RPG, which is exciting. That's good. I'm not a big fan, but that's good. Pokken tournament in depth kind of reveal. Yep. Besides all of those, I still would have probably given them the lowest score.
Oh, good to know.
What's your favorite conference out of the entire show?
May not have been the best conference in some eyes, but I think Sony was very good.
Yeah.
Just because if you really look at it this year, and you could check the tapes, all the press conferences were really an hour 15 tops.
Yeah.
The only one that ran long was Microsoft, but that's because Microsoft had
42 titles, 22 exclusive indies.
Yeah, but it was they had to push as like, we have new hardware, you got to check this out, look at all these games. Like they were treating it as a new console launch. They won't say it, but they were treating it as, hey, this is a new console
Well, yeah,
launch
they had to sell you on the Xbox.
And they still didn't sell you.
That's very confusing. Is it Xbox or is it Xbox One X?
Oh, God, that's good. You have the Xbox One X? You mean the S? No, the X. Oh, we have the original Xbox? Yeah. No, the X.
The Xbox. No,
it's just
not the XBO. not the XBOS.
I still like Sony. I really do. I think they had a nice opening. I think just they were very nice. They were quick. They didn't, jack around. I mean, it by far wasn't the best one, I think, but I don't think it was far from the worst.
So out of this E3, you think Sony showed up the most? Or Sony's your favorite?
Yeah, I mean...
Is that based on the content or the format of their show?
Both. I mean, you had the only thing that really stood out for me and for us was a way out for EA. Besides that, it was sports. I love me Madden. I love me my hockey. Cool.
EA, you need to fucking calm down with the sports shit. I feel like EA needs to calm down with the sports shit every year at E3. We know you're coming out with the fucking sports game.
Yeah. At least they didn't bring a soccer player on.
We know you're coming out with the fucking sports. Everybody in this fucking planet knows you're coming out with the fucking sports game. Yeah. I think you have more success just making an ad, a trailer for YouTube, than you would have anything else. Like, we all know you're coming out with the fucking sports game. I don't need it. I don't need it at E3. And this is something I've been saying for 3 years. I don't need your sports at E3. We know, I don't need Call of Duty at E3. I don't need World War II to be at E3. Nobody on this fucking planet needs Call of Duty, Battlefield, and sports to be at E3. Because we know you're fucking coming out with one. Yeah. If you weren't coming out with one every fucking year, then, okay, let's hear about it. Every fucking year you're coming out with one. You can showcase the fucking clips in one of those Geico miniaturized commercials for YouTube. You can showcase everything that you're going to talk about in the new features in one of those 15-second clips or 5-second clips that they have on Geico YouTube.
But then we have, next up was Microsoft. Like I said, Microsoft was just, release date, CFDs, come on. I've seen this way too much now. This is getting ridiculous. Finally, we get Cuphead, but everything else, it's like State of Decay 2, early 2018. So you're really banking on Crackdown 3 as your main game. And don't get me wrong, I know you're a fan of Crackdown, but...
No, I'm a fan of Crackdown, but I know that it's a broken game. It's basically like it's a ludicrous version of GTA, which we already have. It's called Saints Row. You know what I mean? And it's from the perspective of the cops. So it's all right, but at the same time, it's... The word I'm looking for is I don't feel like they're banking their entire stock on Crackdown. I feel like they're banking their stock too much on all the indie titles that they're trying to pose as exclusives. Mm-hmm. That's my problem, right? They said, oh, we have 42 new games that we're going to showcase, and 22 of them are exclusive. And it was like, whoa, okay.
What do you got here?
Let's see what you got. And it was... Indie. Oh, so you mean 2-hour experiences? Oh, a bunch. You sold me on indie games. Your entire conference was only indies, And I'm all for going in depth about indies, And as Christine was saying, last year somebody was talking about I would have liked to see more indie support, and that's fine. But that much indie support, that in depth is a little much.
We should probably let the people know. We're splitting this into two?
Probably going to be splitting this into two. So let's go into second part.
Okay.
Your runner-ups, right? We're talking about games or we're talking about conferences?
Well, for the most part, we said about our conferences. Like I said, quick just to go. Bethesda, we knew everything that was going on. So I was like, cool. Ubisoft, like I said, much better. They didn't begin with Just Dance. Just Dance 2018 wasn't 10 minutes long. It was a nice 2 minutes thing, and they had some good things, but at the end with Beyond Good and Evil 2 saying, hey, help us create the game. That's like, really? Come on, guys. Then we have Sony that night, did great, and then Nintendo not having the third-party support. So I think in all, yeah, at least we had God of War early 2018, Days Gone. The only thing I'm very surprised, no release date. I was very surprised. I expected a release date for Days Gone. I expected it to be this fall, which makes me worried for the game now. But still, very cool gameplay demo,
Well, we only saw it for the first time last year.
Yeah, but it's also Sony hasn't been working on anything since Uncharted Golden Abyss, which came out in 2012, 2013. And then, yeah, even if they scratch it, that's still a good 4 years, They at least, I don't know. I just think, for the most part, I think Sony was one of the better. But let's talk about runner-ups.
Runner-ups. My runner-up game.
I have many. It wouldn't be me without having runner-ups. Because there's a lot of good runner-up.
There's no good runner-ups. Everything is like pretty much stuff that we've seen.
One of my runner-ups, I'll start, is
Yes.
a Way Out.
Okay.
I mean, that was amazing. Like, I loved A Brother of Tale of Two Sons. And for this being a little bit more gritty, more adult theme, more like cool prison, like work with your buddy, couch co-op, I was like, yo, EA, this is what I want more from you. Don't give me the sports as much, like you said. Give me these, and even Star Wars. Don't give me that much Star Wars. Just 30 minutes of Star Wars, cool. Give me something like these cool little indie projects or like these games that really make me go, yo, EA, you're stepping up to the plate. I like what you're doing here. So one of my runner-up, A Way Out, without a doubt.
Okay.
And it was, for the longest time, it was my game of show. I really feel like it was going to be my game of show. What's another one for you, sir?
I'm gonna have 2 runner-ups and a game. Well, 3 runner-ups. I'll go with.
I have 4.
So my runner-up, my first runner-up is going to be. It's going to be Crackdown 2.
3.
That's my first 3. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's the same game. Doesn't matter. First runner-up. Now that's all fanboyism. Like I love the Crackdown series. So that's all. Like I fell in love. Like I think the Crackdown series was the first game I played on Xbox 360. I believe it was the first game I played on that, and that's what sold me on the game was Crackdown 2 on the 360. And I was just like, all right, I'm good. I like this game. I can deal. What's your second runner-up?
My second runner-up, God of War.
God of War.
Good Lord. It gave this story arc trail, which kudos to you again. It brought a human side to Kratos. You saw more, and just like the story seems very interesting. Like just everything. I want to know more, and it just brought me in. And then seeing some of that combat with the shield, you went nuts over the shield, And I've always enjoyed the God of War series, but this is the first time I'm anticipating. Like usually when a God of War comes out, like 1, 2, or 3, I'm just like, oh, 3's out, cool. I can end Kratos' story. It's enjoyable. It's what I say about certain movies, like Pirates of the Caribbean. I saw last week. Those movies are enjoyable. I enjoy watching them. Are they my favorite movies? No, but every time I jump in, it's good. It's not bad.
Like the Transformers, like it's just something to watch. It's like oh, all right, cool. They have.
I haven't seen a Pirates, or I haven't done this in 6 months. Boom, and then you're like, damn, yep, that was a good 2-3 hours of my life. Same thing with God of War. Still love the franchise, but it's like, hey, God of War 3, that was very enjoyable. I'm going to move on to my next game, but this God of War. And it's early 2018. I am super stoked. And just seeing some more gameplay and the story, it looks absolutely fantastic.
Second runner-up for me, Monster Hunter World.
Ooh.
Yeah. You probably thought it was going to be higher on my list, right? No? Monster Hunter World I thought was a good show, right? Like, let's see what you're actually capable of. This is a nice little game that you're bringing to the table, and I kind of want to see what it's all about. I'm not a fan, or I haven't really delved into the Monster Hunter world, so I haven't been a big part of that kind of atmosphere. This one really intrigued me and what it was bringing to the PS4, I believe.
Oh, very cool.
It did.
I'm very excited.
Cool. Looked very cool. I'm excited for what will be achievable in that game, because it seemed like there's a lot of stuff that you can do. Seems like it's kind of very, you'll get the crafting, the cooking, the fighting, the environment interaction, all that type of stuff. So
second to last runner-up is Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey. Huh. Okay. All right.
It looks great. Like it looks like a fun new Mario game. They explained the hat and why it has eyes, which is thankfully, but it looks like a cool where you can take like transform into your enemy, and it looks like fun. I feel like this could be the next Galaxy, and I know that might be a bold prediction to make, but it just looks like a fun on the go. You got to remember, you could still bring this with you. So if they could just deliver on that and be close to like Breath of the Wild, I'm all on board. It sucks because I hate the release date because I thought it would be November, and I would like be perfect. No, Mario's always in November.
Yeah, but Mario's not competing with Call of Duty.
Yeah, but they do late November.
Okay, but they just released the Switch.
Yes, okay.
They need the numbers.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
They need to play the numbers game.
So they're going to put it with Wolfenstein 2 and
they're going to
Assassin's
put it in
Creed.
the risky area where you can put games.
I'm still
like I've been saying for the past 2 years.
I just don't like it. It's all the games I want. Wolfenstein 2. A quick sidebar. If you see this before, I don't know when this will go up, if it's a part 2, but if you see this hopefully before Monday, probably not.
Okay.
But Evil Within, is it worth picking up? Let me know. And then since you don't have one more runner-up, I'll go with my last one.
Yes.
And this is actually not surprising. Life is Strange.
Of course. I do have one more runner-up, by the way, but I'll go now after your Life is Strange.
No, never mind. It's not Life is Strange. It's not Life is Strange.
No, because you have 2 more, and I only had the 1 more. That's why. And then we can go into our finals.
Okay. It's not Life is Strange. I'm actually very excited for the Dewey Project, the Darwin Project. No, Life is Strange. I cannot wait. And what's awesome is this is not Life is Strange 2. They're still working on Life is Strange 2. This is another developer taking the Life is Strange and making it a prequel before the storm. 3 episodes, August 31st. Nick, I know what you're asking. I already pre-ordered the deluxe edition.
Of course you did.
You're surprised by that?
I'm not surprised by it. It's just, wow. A movie I can play and I get a deluxe edition for it? Oh, man. That's like buying the exclusive 2018 Blu-ray of Avengers. What are you, Disney?
It just...
We're done here. Mic drop. I'm not dropping this mic, though.
No, I mean, 3 episodes. First one comes out August 31st. And then the deluxe, you get that extra episode, which is Farewell, which makes me think it's when her dad passes away. And it just, you get themes, you get all these different outfits. And it's, I think, $16.99, which is not a bad price, I think, for 3 episodes of Life is Strange. I think that's a very good price.
Sure.
You don't agree. I know.
I don't care. I don't care.
I care. And for you Life is Strange people, I care.
I'm not a fan of walking simulators.
It's not a walking. Anyway, I'm good. But very cool. And like I said, 3 episodes, I can't wait. And it just is going to tease for Life is Strange 2, which I can't wait for. So very cool. In August, I can't wait to play it. I'm definitely one of my favorite things from Microsoft, obviously.
Mm-hmm. My last runner-up is Crew 2. Yes. Now, I was extremely hyped for the original Crew.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is contingent, and I said this on after the show, or during the afterthoughts on the show. It's all contingent upon how they kind of make it seamless and how they operate the game. Obviously you can't get out of your car or your boat or whatever it is, but if they do that, that might help it. That might make it work, where you get out of your car and get into a plane, and now you've got this character. I mean, they showcase the actual character that you're playing as. Who knows if it's going to be a creation character or something like that, but they showcase that there is an amateur on the field rising up against the ranks, and they showed his face, and they showed him in the posts, and they showed him like on the newspapers. So chances are you might get like this like kind of GTA-esque where you get out of the car, get into a plane, at which point it's smoothless, and I'm sold.
Yeah, I'm not. It's I don't care about the game.
Well, I like racer games.
Yeah, but you go in a circle. Oh boy. You want to talk about Life is Strange? I gotta go right back. You go in a fucking circle.
You go on planes, boats, motorcycles, ATVs. Much better than Life is Strange. There's actually diversity.
That is highly...
There's not just walk to that character and talk to him.
Nope, because you can make choices that will affect the story, and you can have multiple outcomes.
You can make choices that will affect the story. You could lose a match and lose your streak. And actually become undefeated instead of thinking you're undefeated after one match.
Actually, I'm now 2-0 in ranked matches on Tekken 7. I'm 2-0, sir.
So you're still not undefeated.
I'm still undefeated.
No, you're not.
Undefeated. I mentioned my platinum.
That's not how you.
Okay.
That's not how you rank undefeated.
So let's go with
I think you're going to be surprised of what the hell just happened. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Sorry about that. So you probably see a black screen for a little while. We were talking about Life is Strange.
Yes.
And we were talking about the crew too.
But now your game of show, which might surprise me.
That's probably definitely going to surprise you. A Way Out.
Not surprising.
Not surprising?
If it was in your honorable mentions, I knew it was going to be.
That's my game of show. Allow me to pack a lunch. We're going on a picnic. No, it's not going to be that long.
We'll pack a lunch for mine.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. We always pack a lunch for anything you say. A Way Out. It's nice to see a developer take a different approach to co-op, right? And to bring co-op back.
Couch
co-op back, right? So you can play it online if you want to, but the real experience is going to be experiencing both sides of the story on your couch with your buddy. And that's the way that they recommend playing this. Right? It's like a doctor's recommendation. If you, for full enjoyment, we recommend playing it this way. And I'm very excited to see how that is. I feel like above anything else, this might be our game that we pre-show with whenever we play games. You and I mean. Like, let's play some more A Way Out and kind of get that experience. I feel like that's probably a best option besides a fighting game, like just something where we're like, all right, I'm in the middle of a cutscene, you do this, and I can experience your cutscene from a different angle, but I could also see your cutscene as it's happening. So I'm very excited for a game like that where they reimagine the way couch co-op happens, but they also bring back a fucking couch co-op of some type. So very excited for something like that. Go ahead, Pete. Why don't you bore the people for another 13 minutes of their lives?
My game of show is Assassin's Creed Origins.
Of course it is. You're serious about that?
Am I, Nick?
Yeah, you probably are.
Spider-Man is my pick of the show. Oh, my God. Nick and me are fighting, but I think this game looks amazing. I cannot wait to play it. I want it to be 2018 already. I know, Nick, you have your thoughts. They can listen. I just think it's cool.
They already know my thoughts. I don't need to repeat it.
I know. But it's from Insomniac, which, of course, is one of my favorite developers. They're behind Ratchet & Clank, and that's one of my favorite game series. It looks like and Sunset Overdrive, it looks like they're just making pure love with this. I really am excited. I know, Nick, you are totally thinking I'm insane.
No, I don't think you're insane. I understand exactly why this is your game of show, and I've said it over and over again. I'm not going to say it again.
I know, but I'm just
hint. I said it at the beginning of this show.
I think it's great. So now let's discuss quickly ImprovGamers runner-ups and maybe.
I don't think we're going to be able to agree, sir.
I think we'll agree on game of show because I will give it to A Way Out. I think I will. It was a runner-up for me, but I could still. I know you're not a fan of Spider-Man, but I definitely will agree with you on.
Yeah, for ImprovGamers.
For game of show for ImprovGaming is A Way Out for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Would you be fair to assess that with me?
Sure.
Runner-up, Assassin's Creed Origins.
How far in the runner-up lineup is Assassin's Creed Origins? Here's what I'll give you. I'll give you as the first runner-up, but understand I have my objections.
I know you do.
And it really, what the determining factor is, much like Crew, is how much they've repaired the mechanics.
100%.
All right. And how much they can sell me on being able to guide a fucking arrow with your mind. Okay? Once they sell me on that shit, the eagle shit I can get away with, right? Because there's plenty of people that were using eagles way back in the day, and it was kind of like, it's kind of a thing that people did where eagle will scout it out and then he'll get back on your shoulder and kind of like hint to you, nah, you don't want to go there. I get it. Okay, sure. Whatever. Let's go with that. That eagle marking positions on a map, not really. But the one that fucking lost me was the fucking arrow. That's what lost me was the arrow. Like, who the fuck do you think you are, Hawkeye? What are you kidding me? In ancient, let me qualify this. Let me qualify this. All right, 2017, maybe. If Assassin's Creed took place 2017, maybe. But it's ancient Egypt.
I just wanted to see him going on rant.
And you have a fucking guided arrow.
It might be the wind, Nick.
The wind is not that accurate to get a headshot.
Imagine just Ubisoft comes out and be like, it was the wind that made that happen.
It wasn't our fault. Actually, there's some new dynamic wind things. Really? Really? He got a headshot off of Wind Dynamics? What are we, Sniper Elite meets Assassin's Creed?
Also, I think God of War should be recommended as a runner-up.
Absolutely. I'll concur with you on that. Actually, I would prefer giving that number 2 and Assassin's Creed number 3. But I'll concur with you.
Okay, I'll accept that.
You'll accept that?
I'll accept that.
I'll accept. Okay. All right.
But no, like we said already, God of War looks great. Life is Strange number 4. No. But no, I think what the nice thing was, and I think this is how we'll close it, is each press conference, I feel, had a game for us. For EA, it was A Way Out. Mm-hmm. For Microsoft, for me, it was Life is Strange. You know, for you, it looks like you were a fan of Anthem. Not Anthem. Yeah, Anthem.
Was Anthem on the Microsoft?
Yeah, they teased it at EA, but they showed the gameplay at Microsoft. You know, in that 4K. Mm-hmm. But I think like you enjoyed that. When it comes to Bethesda, Evil Within 2 looks great. Wolfenstein, that took me. You know, you looking and seeing this. Like, I think each conference had some. Ubisoft, I enjoyed the South Park. I also enjoyed, you know, the Assassin's Creed, you know, and Far Cry 5, shout out to that. That looked very cool. Sony, the Spider-Man, the Gods of War, you know, and then you end with Nintendo, Odyssey, looking great, you know.
Metroid Prime 4.
You know, each conference had something that we took away saying, hey, you know, that's pretty cool. I'm excited for that. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't something in previous years where I remember going, oh my God, I can't wait to play X, Y, and Z. Yeah. I can't wait. I remember last year it was
Horizon Zero Dawn.
That turned me around. I was like, Horizon looks amazing. Mm-hmm. Watch Dogs 2. I was like, yo, I'm all on board with
Maybe they cleaned it up. Yep.
Like all these different games.
For Honor caught us last year.
Yep. Like even Last Guardian, I was like, all right, you know, I'm interested in you now. Like all these games coming out, and it was just.
It was good.
Wildlands. We forget about what. Like, it was just all these games that boom, 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 boom. And this one, like I said, it was good. It had that one game where you went, that's my game, Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. But, you know, hopefully E3 next year will be, I don't want to say, it was good. If we have another E3 like this year, I'll be fine with that. If there be more surprises, like I said, PSX, which is December 9th and 10th, I expect them to have a release date then for... At least Detroit
I feel like you don't know the definition of quick.
I would like a release date for Days Gone or anything. Any release date would be great.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always,
God of War, you're
I'm
early
joined by the host
2018.
with the
Come
most,
on.
Mr. I'm Wondering himself. It's Mr. Peter Anderson.
As I live and breathe.
As he lives and breathes.
And I'm always joined with the best ponytail in the business.
It's fabulous.
He's only the biggest Spider-Man PS4 fan in the world.
No, I'm not.
He can't wait to play it come summer.
I already played Arkham Knight. I'm good.
That was on your Xbox One. How is that doing?
Dusty.
Dusty?
Yeah.
It's Mr. Nicholas Days.
How's it going tonight, ladies and gentlemen? We are Improv Gaming. We come to you every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Actually, this Tuesday was our press conference coverage, so we didn't come to you this Tuesday. But we do come to you today, which is Thursday. Actually, this might be part of the next episode, but it might be today on Thursday. And we come to you live every Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you like what you saw, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
I can't wait for Spider-Man.
We're done.